So the plant that you see here in this beautiful planter, which, mind you, this is a very old vintage planter, and I got it off a seller at Etsy and it came cracked, which I was so sad, but you know, in kind of pure Japanese style, I ended up gluing it together so you can't even see the cracks anymore, but it's such a gorgeous planter. I've had a number of different plants in here, but I've finally found the perfect plant for this, I think, and this is Agapetes serpens. Serpens means that it kind of scrambles along, or it's a little bit more serpentine. And this is an interesting plant because I've only been growing it for about 1.5 years, and it's been a very good houseplant. This is one that I wouldn't typically consider as houseplant material. You wouldn't necessarily see it in any kind of like greenhouse or plant market. Maybe perhaps growing it outside in some of the warmer climates. This, by the way, could actually hit a little bit of colder temperatures, so about 40 degrees Fahrenheit, if you will, which I think is maybe like 6 or 8 degrees Celsius off the top of my head. But Agapetes serpens is very unique. It's from the Himalaya area, Tibet, that kind of area, and it has really, really beautiful flowers. I actually first saw it in Thailand growing in a botanic garden, so that's how I kind of came to know about this particular plant. It does like a little bit more of an acidic potting medium. So the way to kind of make your potting medium a little bit more acidic is just to add a little bit more peat, because peat is actually acidic. So add a little bit more peat to your potting medium. Otherwise, you could use a little bit of a barky perlite mixture to this, because I do believe it is slightly epiphytic, but that I'm just thinking about these off the top of my head, so forgive me because I could be wrong about that. I'm growing this right now on my shelf a little bit further back from my southwest facing window, and it seems to be growing well there. Prior to that, I had it growing in a different planter, and it was growing in my closet garden a little bit pulled back, same way from my southwest facing window, and it was growing very well there as well. And you can see that it has this kind of interesting growth structure because it got, it could only grow so tall in the area that I was growing it. And now it could grow a lot taller in the area that I have it. And so it looks like it kind of made a little bit of a beeline, you know, towards the window, but this is actually because it was being restricted from growth on a vertical scale. As far as fertilizing this plant goes, you could do this on like a bi-monthly basis. So every couple months. And you could use just a really well-balanced fertilizer like a 10-10-10, or if you're going the organic route, you could do more like a 1-1-1, if you will. As far as propagation goes, you know, you could get tip cuttings or from seed. It's a really bushy kind of plant, and it will actually start to climb too. So if you give it something to climb up on, it'll probably start to serpentine its way, you know, up there. And yeah, what else can I tell you other than that this plant is pretty cool and unusual, especially for a house plant.